Hi, welcome to a video, I guess, a vlog. I was going to say a live stream. I've been watching an awful lot of live streams. Now, as some of you know who have watched over the past couple of days, I've been in a fair amount of pain. I haven't really been able to do much. The pain along my shoulders, and the doctor has told me to take muscle relaxant. Well, that kind of puts me out. So, what I've learned very easily is to set alarms. If you end up doing something, even after, let's say, you've gone for surgery, and they said to him, for the first couple of days, you need to rest. And I don't know why I never said this before, but you should be setting an alarm clock, or have someone who sets the alarm clock, or have someone call you at a certain time. What an idea. Your body's going to be under stress, so it needs to eat, it needs medications, and if you don't take them, are you going to end up in a worse place? A friend of mine, who is also a type 1 diabetic, had an issue where he went in for surgery, he came home, he really didn't feel well, and he went to bed and slept. He's kind of like me, he lives alone, and somebody called and he kind of answered, and he ended up in DKA, and I guess he had slept for so long without insulin that it becomes an issue. So either have someone check in with you. Okay, that's literally my words today. But this should have all sort of been programmed before you got home from the hospital. Whether you were there for day surgery or major surgery and finally came out. But if you do, plan for days after. Have it in your plan. You should, if you're in your plan for when you're sick. Yes, you're not able to eat. Well, this is what you should be doing. This is how much insulin you should be taking. But if you come out of surgery, now, also also, before you go into surgery, this is something I just came into mind. I went in for surgery, and in the morning I'd taken my insulin because, they've always said, well, you're sick, you need to take your insulin. Well, I got to the hospital, got checked in. The nurse came over and said name and all that. I kind of gave her a name. And then she went away and came back. And I guess I was just sweating and mumbling and... But you should listen to your doctor. What advice are your surgeon? You should let your surgeon know, hey, I'm a diabetic. There was another time, I was about ready to go into, I don't know if it was a procedure or surgery, something that I was need to be knocked out with. And I was talking to the anesthesiologist. I had told the surgeon that I was diabetic and blah, 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 blah. And he said, okay, well, don't eat for 12 hours, not 24 hours, 12 hours. And he said, well, what about taking insulin? And he said, well, that doesn't matter. You're not diabetic. It's kind of like, So before, an anesthesiologist or whoever comes to see you about the procedure, maybe you should tell them, what do you know about me, before we continue on. And I don't mean that for you to be derogatory. I mean that you should be upfront with every medical professional and making sure that, yes, I'm a type 1 diabetic. And I'm not a type 2, I'm a type 1. Because if you're like me, I'm older, I'm larger. And people will constantly assume I'm a type 2. I've gone into emergencies in a low blood sugar. And I was told I could go home, and because of my issues, I don't have my chair with me at the time, that they would have to call an ambulance to come and bring me home. Okay, great. But it was going to be a while, and I was going to spend the night, and I started peeing a lot. And I kind of rung for a nurse, and she said, well, technically you're discharged. I said, well, I need to have some insulin. And the doctor came back and said, oh, you're a type 2, you don't need insulin. I'm going, no, I'm a type 1. So he did the dipstick and found I had moderate ketones at the time. He wasn't even going to do the blood test. But, type 1s do grow up. And everyone keeps thinking when you say you're a type 1 that you are always going to be the cute little child, that you never grow up. But I've done my 45 years of living with this imbalanced disease, whatever you want to call it. I've learned, sometimes the hard way. Sometimes I've heard things and kind of just planned them into my life. Didn't always work out well, but I can remember I was supposed to have there was a strike at our in our province against the hospitals. So a lot of the outpatient clinics were canceled. And I would have to wear this cast for longer. I think I wore it for a month and a half. And anyway, they finally got a ruling, and I called and said, well, I'm starting to get sores on my feet. You know, they were like scabs. They weren't infected. And they said, well, come up now that the hospitals were working at full capacity. And I got bandaged up. Like, the cast was taken off. And then I got bandaged up, and I had to, go back every day, and they started me on IV antibiotics. So, I think I could have got around it. I could have probably cut it off myself. But me, at that age, I probably would have tried it. But all I can remember getting it off, it felt so much better. So, if you get ill, okay, we know what to do. If you're coming home from surgery and all you want to do is sleep, because if I get general anesthetic, that's all I really want to do. Make sure you have a plan. Sorry, that's my iPad. And follow that plan. Set an alarm clock. Have a friend check in. Have a friend come over and stay and make sure that you're doing everything that you're supposed to be doing. And then you can go and rest. Just something to think about in your plan. Yes, I've mentioned that plan again. Have a great day. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.